Hello, everyone. Man, it's just so good to be back on here. I took probably about a week off and just been basking in the creation, the divine spirit. Like, I'm learning a lot about myself and my spirituality, and it's just been a fantastic place to be in. And I feel like I'm glowing on the inside, and I want to give this out to you, and maybe you can tap into some of this for yourself. And today I wanted to talk about, well, today I've been talking a lot today actually. In this video, I wanted to talk about um, the essence of parents. I did not have great parents growing up. I had a mother who was significantly mentally ill, and I mean on very significant and to the point of being homeless. And I had just started a podcast, actually. It's called Dying to Live, and I hope that you can check this out when it comes out. I'm hoping to launch this in, not hoping, I will be launching this in a couple of weeks, and I'm super excited. So you'll hear more about that in the podcast. But anyways, so my mother was significantly mentally ill, ended up homeless, and this was like back in the 90s. So growing up with her was very rough for me. There was no like loving, nurturing mom thing going on, and there never was in my life. I never really had a mom to talk to or come home to, which is actually phenomenal that I'm able to give that to my daughter. My daughter had said something yesterday about how I'm her emotional support, like some of her emotional support. And that really means a lot to me because I never had any of that. It was like, you're on your own. You got to figure it out yourself. And I lived in a lot of fear, lots of fear and lots of doubt, lots of fear of like even living to the next day, which is interesting that the podcast is Dying to Live. No coincidences at all. And you're going to learn a lot about that there. I mean, just, it will blow your mind. So she was pretty abusive, physically, mentally, all of those things, even sexually to a point, not a physical sexual thing, but more like a psychological thing where it was like, oh, you should kiss boy, like pushing me to kiss boys and different things like that at a really young age. And so like, anyway, significant abuse. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of details about that right now. And then the other one, the other one, there's two parents. The other one was my dad, who was a alcoholic big time, and he ended up passing away from cirrhosis of the liver because he abused himself with alcohol to that point. He had since quit. Like I think it was a couple of years before he was diagnosed with liver disease. He had quit drinking. It was just really too late for his liver at that point. And so he died from that. And anyway, he was also very unavailable. And because he was drinking so much, he just wasn't present. And really physically he wasn't present either. And most of the time, right? So those were my parents, and they just struggled. They really struggled to make money. They struggled to provide for the family in a lot of ways. Like there's me, I'm the oldest of 7, and they struggled to provide for the family, and basic needs were not met, like food, and we had shelter most of the time. Well, actually pretty much all the time I was in that situation. We had shelter, just not food, not a lot of like basic need requirements. Sometimes the power would go out, or like bills weren't getting paid, different things like that. So they really struggled with it. And I know my mom's illness was really a big part of that struggle, and she was very manic at times, and you would never really know what was going to happen when you came home. So it'd be like, or I didn't know, not we, because you weren't there, but I never knew what was going to happen when I came home from one day to the next. Like one day would be like, oh, I'm really nice to you. And the next day would just be like, wham, like I'm getting hit in the head with a frying pan. And so there just wasn't a lot of love and a lot of support and nurturing and like caring for your physical body, or caring for, I keep saying that, I keep disassociating it. If you notice, like I say you or we, and it's really me I'm talking about. So I would disassociate from my body at times, or check out somewhere, go into some fantasy land. And anyway, I had an experience recently where I started to realize that, like, the essence of my parents is not that part. Meaning that, like, my parents don't make up like the abuse and the not the loving, not loving and all those things. That's really not actually what they were created to be, and who they really are, the essence of who they really are. Because I really have come to believe that we are all an expression of the divine and God. And so if they are also an expression of the divine and God, then that's actually in them. And so it's like, well, how could you say that? Like, they were so mean to you and blah, blah, blah. And I just have tapped into this thing where it's like the essence of them is that they really did love, right? They did love me. And it was, anyway, like, there's this part where there's like, it feels like an illusion almost that there's no love there. And I had an experience of them being around me, and this was very recently. I had a rebirthing experience of them being in the room, and I could literally feel my parents in the bedroom with me, and they were like, we are so honored to be here in your presence. And it was like everything that's happened for me, and I don't like to say to me, because if you say it's happened to me, it's more of a victim response versus like, wait, all of this was actually orchestrated for my benefit. So thinking about it this way, of the abuse and all the things I've experienced up until this point have led me up to this point. I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for that experience, and for all of the things I've that happened for me, that I've actually gone through and persevered through. And like, I mean, it is such a different perspective versus like, yes, I was abused, poor me, like I need a lot of trauma work, and I've done a lot of that actually, and lived in that space for a really long time of like, I need all this work, I got to fix myself, and I got to do these things. And I've learned that, like, wow, like the essence of who they are is love, and it's infinite love, because they are the essence of God, just like I am and you are. And so how could we hate that, or how could we and this is a we thing, not I think, this is a we thing. How could we not like it or not love all parts of it, right? Just like how I am, there's parts of me where I'd go, I don't like that part of me. And I'm actually starting to learn, well, wait a minute, like that's okay. I can love all parts of myself no matter what. And I hope this makes sense. This is like a little bit way out of my comfort zone sharing this, because I've never shared anything like this before, where we're tapping more into like listening to your guides, and like listening to the divine. And there's these messages that I'm getting from the other side that I never thought I would ever talk about, that's happening to me now. And so I wanted to share that, because I really do think that we should honor our parents. Again, that's a should is more like a judgment. I know I want to honor my parents for who they were, and who they were in the flesh, because now, like, who they are in spirit is amazing. Like, I sense them in the room a lot of times. And one of the commitments I made to both of them on the rebirthing day was that I would honor them, and this is part of that honor. And I actually had their ashes in the garage, because I was like, out of sight, out of mind, don't care. Like, I just was like checked out from like connecting with that at all. And since I have been able to reconnect with this and reconnect with them on a whole different realm, I have had so many incredible, beautiful memories coming up. I recognized the creativity in my mom, and actually in my father, both of them highly creative. They gave me such a gift in that, where my mom was a big time writer, she would journal all the time. She could create a costume out of whatever you gave her in a box. Like, she was that good at it. My dad was a writer. He wrote more music and more like lyrics to songs and poems, which that blows my mind. And then he was also a guitar player, which really good guitar player actually. And I remember like, I really want to learn the guitar, and I would start to practice and I just would give up. And recently I picked it back up, and I am not putting it down. I just not putting it down as much. I am still putting it down, obviously, because I don't have it in my hands right now. So he gave me that gift too of music, and having this appreciation for different genres of music. I mean, I love every different genre you could think of because of my dad. And so as I've stepped into more honoring my parents versus like just disconnecting and not talking to them, I talk to them all the time now. I'm like, well, what do you think about this? And I actually hear them talking to me. It's not like an audible voice. Oh, it's more of a sense of them. And it's been just a mind-blowing experience to have. And so I wanted to just recognize the essence of our parents. And here's the big thing. This is a really big thing, and I really hope you hear this. Is the biggest reason that you honor them is because they had you, and they lived their life to this place to where they could create you, to be part of this creation of you. And so in a sense, if you dishonor them, you dishonor yourself, because they were part of the creation of you. And I know that some of the pushback could be, well, they did this to me or they did that to me. Well, yeah, maybe they did some things to you. However, they were part of the divine to create you. And so that was the one thing that hit me this last week. Was it's such a powerful thing to realize. And so whoever you are out there watching this, I really do hope this penetrates your heart, because you are divinely created, and there's no mistake at all that you're here. And so please honor them, like whatever situation. It doesn't give, there's Chief, say hi to Chief. It doesn't make an excuse for pain. And I want to make that clear. Like, pain is still pain. I still have had pain from the experience of my parents. However, I've come to realize, like, they helped create me, and I'm here because of them. And so I honor the essence of my parents, and I hope that you will too. And back to the ashes, they were in the garage, and I brought them inside, and I put them in a really sacred space that I have, and it's been amazing. Like, I feel the energy of them in the house. I have one of the gifts that my dad has is humor, and I can just hear his jokes, and like, he'll like say something to me. I'm like, oh, that's really funny. Like, things are happening where I'm just like, my mind is blown. So anyway, I hope that you will honor the essence of your parents.